Hi everyone and welcome back to a brand new video on my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips on how to crack your behavioral interview as a UI UX designer so you can get the UX design job you want and kickstart your career. Let's go. 3, 70 and 50. Now, what this rule actually stands for is 3 things. So it actually takes roughly 3 interviews to find your groove when you begin this job hunt at each stage. So even if you apply everything you learn on this video and you practice, your first or second interview might not go as much as you would like it to as well. You might not be as smooth. Just trust the process and keep applying and interviewing. The second number, the 80 stands for is after your 3 interviews, you should roughly aim for 70 to 80% pass rate when it comes to behavioral interviews. Meaning if you had 5 behavioral interviews, you want to go to the next phase with 4 of them at least. If not, I would actually talk with a partner or a friend to see and do a mock interview to see if you are missing some sort of crucial answers to crucial questions, because your interview skills might actually need an update. And the last number, 50, stands for you really want to get that first behavioral phone screen interview roughly after 30 to 50 applications, 50 at the high side. What that means is for every 50 applications you make, you want to get 1 behavioral interview. If you are not getting that 1 behavioral interview, if it takes you 60, 70 or 80 applications to get that 1 UX design behavioral interview, your portfolio, your resume, or simply the jobs you are applying might actually be not well suited for you. Your resume needs a bit of tweaking, your portfolio needs to be updated, but keep these 3 numbers in mind, they will serve you well. Behavioral interviews usually follow a very generic pattern no matter the job. If you're a software developer or UI UX designer, they start with a chit chat, then they ask 3 to 5 popular questions such as, tell me about yourself. What is your weakness? To find out your personality and to see if you are self-aware of your skills and weaknesses, and basically to gauge what kind of a person you are. So what that means is you can actually go to an article and find the most common questions that you might get in a UX design behavioral interview, and I will link to an article in the descriptions below for this video and actually practice them. Now, how do you go on to practice is very simple. You actually pick the 5 to 10 most popular questions and you write down an answer for each of them that ties with an example to your resume. And this is key. It is not just enough to answer what is your weakness question as in saying, I am actually weak at UI design. What you want to say is why you are bad at UI design, what are you doing right now to mitigate this, and show an example that you are actually improving. So you are showing the interviewer you might have a few issues, but you are actually a go-getter who is trying to develop their skills. So an ideal answer for this would be, for me, my UX design skills are actually a lot better than my UI design skills, and I'm aware of this weakness, and that's why in the last month I have been actually devoting 1 hour a day to do a daily UI design challenge on Dribble. I have finished 25 days and I post my solutions there daily. Now, what this does to the interviewer is not only do they understand that you are actually working on your weakness, they are actually believing you more now because you have actual proof that they can later check to back it up. And the final thing that actually matters here, that will actually let you give the optimal answer for the interviewer, is how you say it. Now, you might actually get very good at the what part of the interview questions, meaning you know what to say to answer them, but you really want to do 3 to 5 practice mock-up sessions with your family or friends so that you will say it in a smooth manner. It takes practice to say things naturally And that's how actors do it. That's how you should do it. Just practice, do a few mock-up sessions, they will pay. Now, you actually win the interview before interview when you are actually researching the company, the interviewer, and the whole interview process. And to do this, I will actually recommend you 3 approaches. The first approach is to actually understand how the company works, and you really want to look at their mission, meaning what their work culture is about, what are their values, what do they care for. Are they hustle company, or are they a company that actually provides a healthy life balance? Now, the second thing I will check for is the company's size. Depending on its size, the team structures will also change. The amount of specific things you have to do as a UX designer is way different if a company is 10,000 people or let's say a 10-person startup. And the third thing I would like to make sure you understand is, I would go over the blog of the company to see any recent changes in the company's trajectory. Did they get a new funding, or are they actually expanding to a new marketplace? All of these you can actually use in your interview to actually show the interviewer that you care and you actually research the company. Now, how do you go on about learning about the interviewer? Well, you can do a few things. You can actually check online if they have a personal website, and if they're a designer, senior designer, hiring manager, they probably do, and read a few of their blog posts and make sure to actually find out one of their hobbies to mention in an interview. And you also really want to make sure that if they have ever written a blog post on their company's blog section. This is very important because this is like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, because not only now are you showing that you care about the company, but you also care about what this individual is doing in that company for their work. And the last thing you really can do is you can check their social media such as LinkedIn or Facebook, and this will let you in about how they think about work, what are they actually promoting, what posts they like, and that can also be a very good conversation icebreaker. Now, the last thing you want to learn pre-interview is you want to find out about the interview process. Meaning, even if this is a behavioral interview, you might want to ask, who am I actually going to meet with? This is to find out if there's actually 1 or 2 people in the room. One might be listening, the other might be talking with you, or is it just one-on-one? You might also be asking how many interviews are in the interview stage. You might ask this during the meeting, pre-meeting, or just at the end, but make sure to learn the answer of these final questions. How does the interview process work after this interview? Meaning, when are you supposed to follow up, or are they going to follow up with you? How long does it take to actually reach the offer stage? Is it 4 weeks or is it 6 weeks? You really want to learn these numbers, because when you get to the offer stage, and hopefully you will get multiple offers, you really want to get the best company that you want to work for, and one of that is aligning it at the same time all the offers that you can get, so you have the most leverage. Now, preparing a cheat sheet that you can simply glance over and just remember what you have to talk about is actually a very good way to increase your chances of going to the next stage in the interview process. Now, in your cheat sheet though, you want to make sure you have 3 things. The first is obviously your resume. You want to have the key bullet points that you might reference depending on the questions, the popular questions that you studied that will actually show up. The second thing you want is to have the job responsibilities available to you. And the third thing you want on your cheat sheet is to actually have some information about the company and the interviewer. Now, if you're on a phone call, having this stack of paper in front of you is actually very easy. I know people or designers who actually just put their answers to the popular questions and just read off from them. But if you are on the unlucky side and you are actually on a Zoom call, it might be better to put it just on a board in front of you, and then you can simply glance and that would actually help you remember what you are going to talk about, and that will increase your chances dramatically on passing to the next stage of the interview process. Now, make sure you say yes when an interviewer asks you if you have any questions for me, for the following two reasons. First, it actually shows that you are interested in the company and want to learn more. But the second, which is, I believe, much more important, is that you cover your unknown unknowns. Because let's face it, a behavioral interview is like a first date. You kind of want to make sure the person across you is not crazy, and make sure that they are actually a cool guy or a fella. And to do this, you actually have to ask questions about the team you might be joining, the management style, but also the company or the interviewer themselves. So for that reason, I actually ask a variation of these three questions. My first question is to determine if the management style works for my needs. And the question I ask is, what is the management style like in the team I'm going to join at? And usually, if you are getting an answer, let's say you have a one manager you are going to work directly with, and they might have a senior manager that is like a product owner that is going to manage the whole project, and you then might want to decide, okay, for the next interview, I really have to meet either of these people to gauge if they are actually a good personal fit for me. Because what I found is if you don't have a good, let's say, groove, you don't have a good interaction with the management, it's really hard to actually grow your career. The second question you want to ask is, you want to ask the interviewer, what do they like about the job that they really appreciate? What is the number one thing? And this actually gives you an insight where what is the unfair advantage a company can have? Meaning, out of everything it provides to its employees, what is that thing that most people appreciate? That might be work-life balance, that might be career advancement opportunity, that might be mentorship opportunities, but make sure that you pay attention to this answer because you really want the answer to align with your goals. The third question I would actually ask is, I would ask about what's the next stage for the company? Is the company trying to go public? Is the company trying to actually get a new investment? And this question actually gives you an opportunity to ask more questions, because if they are actually trying to grow, you might actually have a chance of advancement when you can actually advance in your positions and train new designers. Or if they are actually, let's say, entering a new market, you might have new potential opportunities to start a new project and build something from scratch. So these three questions are the ones I recommend, and I believe they will help you. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't already and you really like my content, please click on that subscribe button below so that you can get a notification when I post a new video about how to grow in your UX design career, and we can stay in touch. Now, I also added one video and one playlist to the end of this video that I believe will actually help you develop your UX design, interview, and user experience skills even further so you can get better in your career. Make sure to actually check them out. Have a great day.